We had a very competitive football game with Florida State, and I was very proud of the preparation. I was very proud of the mentality that went into the game. I have thought for some time that this team was talented enough if they were put in the right positions to be able to play a competitive game against a quality opponent like Florida State was. But I think that no matter what I think, the big thing is the mentality that the players take to a game like that. Before you can win, you gotta believe you can win, and then you gotta make a commitment to win. And I think our players took that mentality to the game first time, quite honestly. I think we may have had it quite really against Georgia Tech. We just got off to we had some things happen early, and after we got past that, I thought that game was some indication of that mentality existing at that point in time. But in this game, we survived a first 5-minute situation that we had not survived in other games like this. So the mentality, I think, is one that if we sustain it, will serve us well. And which is, I guess you say, what does that mean? Expecting to win, no matter who you're on the field with, believing in your own talents and our talents. We're a talented football team. Also, what goes along with that is I think our coaches came up with a plan. Good plans. I think it was a quality coaching job by our offensive and defensive coaches. So when you get the right mentality out of your players, you get a good plan with your coaches, and I don't think there's any question that Florida State arrived with an emotional hangover from the week before. There's even though Bobby called us Troy, I think after the game, I think he was living with the anxiety of that Troy caught him in that same situation one time. But I do think that they were fully back sometime around second quarter, and I think we got the best of Florida State after a certain point in time. And what I'm proud of is that when we got the best out of them, we still sustained a high quality of play against what I think is probably as good as they could play. But having said all that, we lost a football game. Like all games, it comes down. We did really quality things, but we had 4 or 5 plays that made a difference. Give them credit for having made the plays. If we'd made the plays, we'd have won the game. 4th down and short, couldn't get the pass off. We've got 2 receivers open. One of them's a touchdown, which is exactly what Ronnie, had in mind, in the whole situation. The other one is a really TJ has a ball in his hands one time. Juwan, on a vertical ball that they throw, and we get taken out of the pressure that their front put on us called some plays. It kept us from putting some more points on the board. Their receivers and quarterback, they protected well, and they made some great throws against good coverage, I might say. I mean, the throw, for example, that went down to the 1-yard line was Cleasy was on his back, actually took his right arm and pinned it to his body, and he juggled the ball momentarily. I didn't think at the time he caught it. I'm since told maybe that he did. I don't know. But Juwan's here because Juwan was part of making plays for us, and we had players making plays everywhere. The go forward part of this is that we may be the team with the emotional hangover. We better get over it. Bring in the Alka-Seltzer because we can't afford to have one, just like they couldn't afford to have one. There are things that we haven't done that good football teams have to do. we've got to run the ball. We haven't had anything like what's expected of us in the running game. And we've got to return punch, and we've got to return kicks. We've been absent of that. So, you know, we've got our challenges, plus, you know, Alabama A&M historically has just been a bear for us. And you know, they've got some momentum. They're 2-0. They've beaten an OVC team handily already. What I have always, y'all heard it last week, I think, you know, we've been in these two big arenas, and you know, hopefully we weren't playing off the excitement of you know, the challenge, because this arena is not as big, but the battle will be just as big or bigger, probably bigger battle. Biggest battles aren't fought in the biggest arenas, and you know, this one will be electric. Though my feeling is that this will be a packed house with two loud bands, and I think our band's probably got its biggest challenge. They're 2-0, I understand. So I'm challenging players. Today's academic Monday. We don't practice today, but we're involved in making sure that in this team, I'll say again, the APR penalty is a historic penalty. We're just making sure that this team doesn't. We're not trying to come out of anything. This team's got a 950. It's got a good average, which we're still behind historically, and making sure that this team continues to bring that APR number up. So I guess that's it. Questions?
Would you speak to their skill players, Jack?
A&M skill.
Yeah. The receiver and the running back.
Yeah. Banks is, you know, he's a receiver and a runner, and he's had dominant performances these first two ball games. The receiver is I know him as 81. I look down here, Thomas Harris. He's an All-American. I mean, he can play for anybody, and they'll quarterback is the same one. They basically are the same team that we played. Of course, we won by you know, margin last year, but they're a more mature team, and probably more highly motivated team. They're going to play better together, and they're playing at home. So, but I'm very impressed. Coach Jones he's as good a football coach, you know, as there is, and their players play hard, and they're a classy bunch, and you know, we're gonna have to bring it all. But those players are prominent players, and they made plays against us last year.
And they've got a pretty good force unit too on that.
Yeah, they had 8 sacks last week against Hampton. Hampton's a team's visited the playoffs. They're going to bring pressure, and we gave up 7 sacks against Florida State. Are they Florida State? No, they're not Florida State. But you know what? We probably, if we didn't prove there ain't that much difference, there ain't that much difference anywhere.